Welcome to the 2.0 Grandma Podcast, a space created by a grandma for grandmas and all about grandmas. Our mission is clear: to empower and support grandmas as they redefine, realign, and redesign their lives.
This is the 2.0 Grandma Podcast, and our show is a show for grandmas, about grandmas, and by a grandma. Okay, so I want people to know that I'm a grandma too. So that's why I'm doing this work, because I believe that grandmas are phenomenal people, phenomenal. And we get a kind of a raw deal. We'll go into that a little bit later. But I want to highlight the work that women who are grandmas, who happen to be grandmas, are doing out there. Some amazing work. And the more I do this work, the more I find out how amazing we are. And so I would like to welcome you first to my episode. This is our season 2. And I'm so excited because, again, I've interviewed quite a few beautiful, beautiful people. I've even interviewed them for my book. So I have 2 books now, and all the interviews are about grandmas. So I would love to include you in that. But I'm just excited. Now, are you in Spain right now? Where are you right now?
In Alicante, which is the east side of Spain. You know Barcelona?
Yes.
Down from Barcelona, then Castellón, and in the bottom of Castellón is Valencia, and in the bottom of Valencia, it's Alicante. So I am in Alicante province.
Wow. Sounds very beautiful. Wow.
In the coast with the beach.
I'm a little jealous. Oh my God.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome to come to visit me. So,
well, it's been so funny because people that I've interviewed I interviewed a woman last week from Portugal. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm gonna have to go all these places now that I know all these people, right?
You better do.
I need to. I really do. And I work from home. So this is perfect because I could work from there,
That's
right?
It. That's it. Absolutely.
That's it, anyway.
Before you get a great grandmother.
Right, exactly. Do not speak that into existence right now. I have a 2-year-old grandson right now. I have 7 grandkids, but I have a 2-year-old grandson. All the others are like the youngest one after 2, the next one is 11, and then the others are all teenagers. Oh, so wow. Yeah, the fun one is that 2-year-old. Oh my God, I just love that little boy. Oh my God.
Nice.
Yes. So, but tell us about you, who you are, before we get into your platform. Tell us about who you are as an individual and about your grandmahood, if you're a grandma, and all those things. Okay.
Well, I am a Spaniard, right, girl that became a woman in the 70s. Marrying with a North American. Can you believe it? From Lufkin, Texas.
Texas? Well, they say they do everything bigger there, so.
Yeah, everything is big there. My God, yes. So anyway, it's not a very nice story because it doesn't end up well.
Oh.
Unfortunately, yeah, it didn't end up well. And that's why, even though I am a grandmother, I cannot act as it because of the situation that finally ended up being. So it is very interesting how and why I can tell.
Right.
Because in my own flesh, I have experienced the negativity of life, sometimes coming difficult, the rough times. And that it is possible to overcome everything and to trespass problems and trespass rough times with a very, very positive attitude and happiness in the heart and soul. And I am a living model of it. And
yes. Me too. I'm sure we could share some stories. Yes. So is life, right? Sometimes life is the kid. I think
That's
the way the kids
that's
say it
right.
now, life be life, and I'm like, what does that mean? But I think I know what that means. Life, there are ups and downs, and how
That's
you react to it is what matters. Yes.
That's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Life is a narrative,
Mm-hmm.
and we can have, I mean, we can relate to it and tell about this
Mm-hmm.
narrative
Mm-hmm.
from the victim point of view
Oh,
or from the perspective of I am a winner and
yes,
I am a heroine of my own
yes.
life. You see?
And I'm a
So
hero of my own story, right?
that's
Yes, my own life. Yes, I love that.
heroine of my own life and
Yes,
story. And that's why at the end, this self-esteem, this self-love
yes.
springs up naturally, like I did it. I did it. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't matter that we say in Spanish, if life gives you lemons, make a nice lemonade.
Yes, and
So
I love lemonade. Yes.
so that's what I did. In many,
Yes.
many instances, I got lemons. And
Mm-hmm.
yet, I made a wonderful and beautiful lemonade that tastes
Mm,
just wonderful.
yeah. So life can be sweet, right? It doesn't have to be all tart. It can be sweet.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, yes. So now tell me about this, your platform, this inner positioning. I mean, I found that really fascinating, just the words itself. And so, of course, it conjured up some ideas like, does that really mean know yourself? Does that really mean if we have a hard time, we change it and it's really about how we feel about the hard time that we had and what we do? So, I was thinking all of those things, but please tell me what it is because I know you defined it.
Yes. The idea of humanity right now being very advanced in many technological things, that
Mm-hmm.
means that we have known how to progress very well, and yet we have not known how to evolve, which it
Mm-hmm.
means that we have gone like this instead of being like this, making a beautiful evolution of the external and the internal.
Mm-hmm.
Because the internal is precisely these dimensions that human beings have not taken into account above all in the West. Because in the East, they have had it in account, and yet they lost the external part. They lost the material.
Mm-hmm.
So, neither of the two,
Mm-hmm.
West or East,
Your ease.
got it.
Uh-huh. Mm.
That's why I, after many, many looking, uh, like following masters and gurus and spiritual teachers and blah blah blah, because I went to the university and out of the university and again back to the university. I mean, I've been around. I have studied a lot, and
Yeah, I
in
saw your bio. My God, yes, it's extensive.
all my researches, finally,
Mm-hmm.
I got to this conclusion that I arrived to finally the integral theory from Ken Wilber,
Mm-hmm.
which gives us a real map of reality, a real capacity of, I always say, I put the glasses and then I see reality as a whole. And that's what it is. That theory is just, I put the glasses if I want to see the reality as a whole. You know,
Ah.
it is very interesting. And then I stopped there in the sense of, oh, now I am going to deep into this. And even though I come from the humanistic psychology and then the transpersonal psychology, then I arrived to integral psychology and I said, yeah, this is it. Because to see life from this perspective of the totality of
Mm-hmm.
reality, of all the dimensions of reality, it's absolutely necessary to understand life and to be able to choose with consciousness what are we choosing. So this interior part, this
Mm-hmm.
interior deeper dimensions of
Mm-hmm.
existence is precisely what we have not done with our great progress, external progress. You
Yeah,
see?
yeah, yeah.
So that's why in inner positioning, we have a real close look, a close regard to the inner processes, which is the thoughts, the sensations, the beliefs, the emotions,
Mm-hmm.
everything that we can recognize as our internal processes and
Mm-hmm.
what is going on inside of us and what can we do. And then positioning in gerundive tense, which is very important to recognize that it's not position, it's positioning,
Ah, uh-huh.
which means that it is important to have consciousness of this ongoing process of life, this flow of life that can
Mm-hmm.
always keep on moving us forward toward a better version of our own selves. So this flow, it's absolutely necessary to recognize, to know about the personal inner positioning we are taking in front of life, of the
Mm-hmm.
different areas of life. You see, and then if I am positioning myself in a wrong way, I cannot expect to have positive results. So
Right.
if
So
I
now,
am positioning myself in a negative way, I am going to receive negative outcomes,
hmm.
right?
So what I'm thinking as you're explaining it, I'm going back to Psychology 101, right? And I'm thinking about Maslow
Yeah,
theory of self-actualization, his hierarchy of needs. So if our basic needs are met, our emotional needs are met, but until we do that work, we cannot get to self-actualization. And sounds like what you're saying, if we go in the wrong direction, we're not going to get there either, unless we do a self-correct.
that's right. And we
Mm,
will then never arrive to the vortex of the pyramid, you
right.
see? And therefore, we will not be even conscious that evolution goes in levels. And we are going up the levels. As much consciousness as we have, we will go up a level, which will mean, like if we are going up a mountain, we will see much more around. See?
Yes. I
And,
see. I can see clearly now. Right. Yes. Yes.
and then we
Yes.
will be able to act upon all
Yes.
more than we see.
Yes.
If
And
not, we are
I
like donkeys.
I think that sometimes we think about that from an age perspective, right? So we're at a certain age, oh, we should know better now. We should do things differently because we're at a certain age. But chronologically, maturation and emotional maturation, that's what they call emotional intelligence, all that does not always meet.
That's
Sometimes
right.
they're off, and that's why we have issues. Yeah. Oh my God. How enlightening this is.
Because,
Oh, wow.
Marcia, it's very interesting to recognize the difference between biological and physical development,
Mm-hmm.
because we can then maturate in our brain. And
Mm-hmm.
we go from babies to infants to adolescents to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, young,
Mm-hmm.
younghood, let's say, no,
Mm-hmm.
and then adulthood. And
Yes,
that
yes, yes.
assure, like you say, the maturation,
Right.
because it is another type of development.
Yes.
Is the development, Ken Wilber calls it the growing, which has to do with all that evolutionary psychology has been studied for, lately, because it's
Mm-hmm.
very young. This science is very, very young.
Mm-hmm.
That's why to unite the modern with the traditional, it's very,
Mm-hmm.
very important, because then there is the waking up. One thing is to grow up, and another thing is wake up.
Ooh, that's okay. Let's hold that thought for a minute because I have a couple of questions. Let's do this. Let's take a little break for our commercial. and we'll do 1 minute and then we'll come back. Okay.
Introducing a remarkable book, a tapestry of stories from atypical grandmas whose lives are a treasure trove of wisdom and inspiration. Stories of inspiration, life lessons, and wisdom from grandmas by Dr. Marsha McLean. This extraordinary book is now available on www.grandmas2.0.com and on Amazon.
Okay. So as you were talking, first I said this reminds me of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But then lately I've been listening to Louise Hay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love her work.
Sure.
And I wish I would have found her earlier in my life, but I really love her work because she, in my perspective, talks about the things that we go through, the things that have happened to us in our lives, and how sometimes we blame other people and that holds us back. So the thing is, if we love ourselves, and we need to intentionally say that we love ourselves. And then the other thing I was thinking about, the maturity thing, I was thinking about how, at a certain age, we might not really know ourselves, right? And so we have, people say, well, what is it? I think it's Erik Erikson says it about, we go through this identity crisis, right? But I always say to people, even though I'm a grandma, I always say to people, like my grandkids said, well, grandma, how old are you? And I say 26. And they go, wait a minute, my dad is 40. How are you 26? Right? And I said, oh, it's the new math, like that. But, and then one day a friend of mine actually says, why did you say you're 26? I mean, we grew up together because he knows I'm not 26. But the thing is, I said, I don't know why I chose 26. And as you're talking about that, was that an awakening in my life at that time or something? I don't know, but now I'm beginning to understand why I chose 26. But now go ahead, Raquel.
No, it's because there are many things that explain what you're saying. Because, for example, in the East, the Chinese say, that they talk a lot about energetic matters, and they say that energetically, the moving of the energy inside of the body, okay, renews at 60. So it means that at 60, the whole process of inner evolution energetically starts back again from spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So it's like the winter energetically ends up at 60 and then starts spring from 60 on. So energetically, it's very interesting that because it means that we have like a second choice.
Right. We got a second chance here.
Second chance.
Yes.
Chance. That's one thing. And the other thing is this capability that we have to then recognize what the Hindus say, which is when we finally arrive to the opening, the waking up to our own consciousness, we have already consciously also grown up. Because even though I have grown in my brain, I may not be a grown up. Therefore, this is what Ken Wilber says about growing, the difference between growing up or waking up. So, you see, if we have grown up and woke up, Hindus call it the second birth.
Oh, wow.
And the second birth is the Brahman, which means like the new born. See? So a person can have 26 if there has been 26 years since you have kind of open up yourself to consciousness.
Oh, wow. I never thought about that. I didn't realize that. I don't know why. Like I said, I don't know why I said 26, but I just said that. And I've been saying that for years, of course. And it was like a reawakening, I have to admit, because at one point in my life, everything just changed for me. My outlook changed. how I wanted to be in this world changed, how I wanted to live my life changed, and the energy, like you said, oh my God, this is a self-discovery for me. Just by you telling me that, I had no idea. Wow. Well, thank you for that, because that explains so much about me. So now, do we get more than one chance at this, or do you only get one chance? Is that it?
Every day is a new chance,
Yeah.
every day is a new chance, because this cycle that the Chinese say, the traditional medicine, Chinese medicine say, that goes from the energy of spring, and then summer and autumn and winter.
Mm-hmm.
This can be also in a whole day. We can have that process,
Yes,
that
we did.
energetic process in a whole day. And when
Yeah.
we go to sleep, it's the winter. And
Mm.
when the spring comes, it's a new morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new day. It's, what do I want to plant
Mm-hmm.
today, so
That
that
day.
if I planted in spring, let's see what happens in the summer, if it's a summer fruit or what, or it's an autumn, that I am going to, how do you say, harvest in
Uh-huh.
autumn, or what. It's very interesting.
Very interesting. Yes. Wow. So what would you say to grandmas? Because, I find, so let me kind of back up a little bit. So I've been doing this work now, focusing on grandmas for that's about 3 years now. I really went, full force focused during COVID, like June of that year of 2020. And I said, you know what? It's time now for me to do this, because people would always say to me, you don't look like a grandma. You don't act like a grandma. And
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh, well, I have at the time, six grandkids. You don't? Yes, I do. And so I was living in Washington, D.C., and during the springtime, I would go to the gym and da da da. And so one day I drove up to the gym, and I had a little Mini Cooper car, and it had a convertible. So I got my sunglasses on, I got my music playing loud,
Super
right?
cool.
Super cute, super cute, super cute, having a good time. And these ladies stopped me. They were like, and I'm like, yes, ma'am. I thought I'd done something wrong. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Who are you? And I said, huh? And so I told her my name. She says, well, I just want to tell you that we've been admiring you. We see you around here. We want to know who you are. And I said, oh, well, my name is Marsha, da 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 da. And they said, well, we want to be like you when I grow up, and when we grow up. And I said, well, I said, I'm probably already older than you. No way. I said, yeah, I'm a grandma. They were like, no way. Like that. So then that's how it all got started, right? And I said,
Wow.
you know what? People have this vision of grandmas. And I want to dispel that myth that grandmas are not these old, decrepit women wearing muumuus, boobs all down to the floor, backs, we're not that. That's a different. Now, maybe grandmas of the past accepted that role and accepted that identity, but today's grandma, we're not accepting that. And
No,
so that's why I started the organization. And it
right.
just kind of went from there. And now it's catapulted into looking at how I can really help grandmas redefine who they are, because our life is not over. See, a lot of people think when you get to be in the grand, we're not done. Baby, guess what? I don't know about you, but I'm just getting started. Okay. That's how I feel about
Right.
it.
Absolutely.
So it's a totally different mindset.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so, what can we tell our grandmas about, the inner positioning and what they need to do to get them, I don't know, but, just kind of share that with us.
Well, following after 40 years of professional practice as a psychologist and psychotherapist,
Mm-hmm.
I arrived to this model because I said, hey, because I'm 68,
Mm-hmm.
almost a 70-year-old woman already, I
Mm-hmm.
said, what if I die tomorrow? All this know-how, all this experience that I had with the people that has come to my consultations and have had, they say, good results, is
Mm-hmm.
going to be lost. So I was walking through the forest one day, and just, God, let's say the universe, whatever we call it,
Mm-hmm.
something gave me this inner and this positioning. And I said, what is this? And then it came, the house. So three things. I said, and what do I do with these three things? So I kind of meditated, played around with those words. And finally I said, oh my God, I have been given a model, a
Mm.
philosophical model and a methodological therapeutic practice. So what I can tell the grandmas is precisely this recognition. Recognize your position in life.
Mm.
Recognize, because in inner positioning, we use the archetype of the house, which is very known by anyone through the
Yep.
centuries,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone knows what a house is, right? So we use this consciousness of the house, this archetype and concept of the house, which we can transform in our inner home. And
Mm-hmm.
we cannot transform that house that we have received from our parents. But have we known how to create it in our own home, how to transform it? Because there are people which do not know how to live in themselves. And I
Mm-hmm.
call it habiting. So
Mm.
I tell these grandmas, learn to inhabit each room of your inner house. Because if
Mm.
you inhabit each room of your inner house, you are going to then recognize yourself, know yourself, like the Greeks tell us, no? Know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Know thyself.
you,
Yep, that's another one I wrote down. Yeah.
right? So, and when you know yourself, then you are going to be very comfortable and protected and safe inside of your inner home. And even though in the outside we may have a nuclear war, it doesn't matter, because we will be in our inner home,
Mm-hmm.
inhabiting
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
every room, which the
Mm-hmm.
rooms are the areas of life.
Mm.
So we recognize which is the position I'm having in the kitchen, in the inner kitchen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how am I eating today, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually? How do
Intellectually,
I
yes.
nurture myself? You see?
Mm.
So in inner positioning, we see all those rooms to see which is the position I'm taking in the kitchen, in the bedroom. Like, for example, intimacy. Do I know how to maintain and have intimacy with my own self and with another person?
Mm-hmm.
Or I am like this all the time and I don't really share myself,
Mm.
you see? So
Wow.
I tell grandmas to go through their inner rooms and
Yeah.
know them very well, recognize which is their positions. And if it is of negative polarity, change it to positive polarity. And
Mm.
then you will inhabit your house and therefore it will become a home.
Mm. Well, I love that because it also reminds me of this work by Dr. Peggy Swarbrick. She talks about the 8 dimensions of wellness. And these 8 dimensions make up every individual. So it's how we look at ourselves, our physical wellness, our financial wellness, our intellectual wellness, our emotional wellness, our spiritual wellness, our did I say social wellness, occupational, and our environment. So looking at all of those different rooms within yourself, oh my God. And
For
then
example, you
focusing
see
on
the excuse me, the living room will
uh-huh.
be our social wellness.
Yes, yes,
The
yes.
living room, wherever the how do you say, the children's room
Mm-hmm.
will be our capacity to enjoy life and to be
Mm.
content and to be happy.
And
And
play and have fun.
play how do we play our lives or
Yes.
not? You
Yes.
see, and then the for example, the how do you call it, the um, in Spanish is oficina, in English, the office, no, the
Mm-hmm.
office room, like
Mm-hmm.
the place where we have the internet and the computer. How do you call
Mm-hmm.
that?
The workspace or whatever. Yes.
The
Mm-hmm.
workspace.
Mm-hmm.
That will be our relationships with
Mm-hmm.
the institutions, with the novelty in our lives. Do we know how to write new narratives for our own selves, etc.? You
Mm-hmm.
see? And how do we relate with the business world, with the finances, with all these things? See? It will be the workplace in the house. So every room has a real depth to recognize how do we relate to these things in our lives and to improve the position in which we stand there.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And it's a comprehensive way of looking at yourself and focusing on yourself. And that's another issue as grandmas that we are a little bit afraid to do. And I think it's because we're concerned about what others think. Society has caused us to kind of conform to the fact that our job is to nurture and take care of everybody else, but it's not to take care of ourselves. So this inner positioning is said, no, take care of yourself and do that first so you can be better for everyone else.
Absolutely. Because if not, there will not be a fulfillment.
Yes.
And if you are not fulfilled, imagine if my cup runneth over,
Yes.
everyone which is around is going to pick up what I am running over.
Yes. And will gain from that. They will gain from that. Yes.
Absolutely. On the contrary, we have been said and we have been taught and we have been, over and over told
Hmm.
that, give even if you don't have. No, no, wait a minute. If I don't have, I cannot
How
give.
are you going to give? Right.
So
Right.
the consciousness is to be able to be in the condition of filling up myself, my
Mhm.
vase, my glass, to then overflow. And when I am overflowing, in the terminology of inner positioning, when I am inhabiting my house and I have transformed it, therefore, into a home, my inner home, then I am complete. Then
Mm,
I am overflowing, and then everyone will take from me and can take from me because I am giving all the
mhm,
time
mhm, mhm,
because I have given myself first.
mhm, mhm. Yeah. And if you don't take care of yourself, you really don't have anything to give.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
There's
right.
nothing to give. Yeah. And people, so now I'm thinking about people that I notice out here in the world. Some people are just so not, they're not giving, they're not smiling. And I'm like, what is going on? And they're upset with you because you are smiling and having a good time, right? Even my coworkers say to me, "You're always laughing and always smiling. What is going on with you?" And I'm like, I'm happy. I'm doing what I want to do. I mean, is there something wrong with that? There should not be anything wrong with that. No one should ever question why you're smiling and why you're happy.
Absolutely.
Why would that be a thing? Why is
Mm.
that an issue? Someone should be saying, "Yeah, I'm so happy for you that you're happy." Right? That's what we should be doing.
That's right. That's right.
Cheering each other
But
on.
it's not politically correct
Right?
nowadays. It's not politically correct to be smiling. It's like we are obliged to be sad and
Yes.
discontent and enraged and
Mhm.
always complaining about something. And why? If it's completely the opposite, because if we are not in the opposite, energies, if we are not developing qualities of every room, the qualities that every room brings with, goodness, our lives will be miserable.
Mm-hmm.
The contrary, if we learn how to develop the qualities of each room, we will be happy, because the happiness is the result of a conscious heart. And
Mm.
therefore, if we are conscious, we're going to be happy as a distillation, a natural and logical distillation of
Mm.
consciousness.
Mm-hmm. And you see people, like when people, you see their mouth turned down, and you're like, and I know for me, I'm like, okay, I need to do some face exercise because I do not want my face to look like that, right? And like, there's this one woman, a friend of mine actually, said that her granddaughter, what did she say? She said, I noticed my granddaughter holds her face like her other grandmother. And I said, huh? Because I didn't understand what she was saying, right? I was like, what do you mean by that? She says the other grandmother, and she showed me a picture, and the grandmother, her lips were stuck out and her face was like this. And it was like she never smiled. And she said she noticed her granddaughter doing that, making that same face. And she said, oh my God. She said, but she stays with her during the day like daycare. But you know what? I don't like that because I'm afraid that that's what she's going to think that she's supposed to look like. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, I appreciate you for noticing that about your grandchild because a lot of people wouldn't have noticed that. She said, but yes, she said, I noticed. She said, and this woman has this frown all the time on her face, all the time.
And
Like she's never, ever, ever happy.
as grandmas, we are responsible of what is the legacy that we are
Yes.
leaving to our grandchildren. So
Yes.
that woman is very conscious of what she is going to do from now on, that she recognized that with her grandchild,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
goodness, she can be responsible of, I am going to smile now, so that she takes this
Yeah.
consciousness. Hey, even though the negativity is around, I can be positive inside of me
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
smile.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Marsha, I go in the street. I don't know if that has happened to you. I go walking in the street, and all of a sudden, I reckon myself like with a
Right.
big smile on my face,
Mm-hmm.
and I go, oh, this is wonderful, because I am smiling because I'm happy. And then
Yes.
it comes to my mind, and I am smiling for all those who don't know how to smile.
Oh, and there are a lot of people that won't do it. They just
They
refuse
don't
flat
even
out.
know how to do it.
That is
They
so
have
crazy.
been told that it's not nice to smile. They have been told that it's not, like we said before, politically correct,
Right.
because the times are not for that. When we
Mm-hmm.
have two wars, we cannot smile while we are having people
Right.
dying. People
Right.
has died all over all the time.
Exactly. And that's never going to
We are
change.
responsible of what do we do with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is so incredible and so on time. Because I think when we get to a certain age in our life or a certain stage in our life, sometimes people want to give up. And what you're saying is, so nope, go back to your house, reposition yourself, and rethink this thing, and you could turn everything around. And that's the other thing that Louise Hay says. She says, like, she even says, uh, you can heal yourself
Sure, sure, sure. Absolutely,
just by
absolutely.
how you think about it. So tell me about that. How does that inner positioning work for that? Like healing, because so many people at a certain age say, oh, I got this, I got that, my back, my leg, my neck, everything. So tell me, how does that work?
Well, it's whenever we go into this consciousness of what is the position we are taking in each room, final experience is that I am all right, whatever I am, however I am. And if all of a sudden I have whatever, 80 years old, 70 years old, and something is hurting, well, I like recognize that hurt and accompany that hurt, positioning myself in the consciousness that if I don't take that hurt as something I want to fight against, contrary, integrate it. If we integrate that hurt, then it's going to start either dissolving because the body has its own capacity to resolve problems, see? Or it will tell us how strong we are that we can live with that, with any problem, accepting the reality of that if it is a situation that we cannot really change with our mind, you see, with our attitude, with our positive take.
Yeah. And that's that same philosophy when people get, like a coworker was diagnosed with cancer, pancreas cancer. And someone else was telling me about their brother had, I can't remember what kind of kidney. So he had to go on dialysis. And so, but when you see this person, their attitude is so upbeat, and that person has held on for so long because I think, and this is what I think, because of their attitude. In other words, so they said, okay, let me figure out how I want to position this. Do I want to integrate it? Do I want to, accept it and then deal with it? That sounds like that's what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
Imagine we
Wow.
have many examples in the even in medical world. Joe Dispenza, for example, if you heard about him, Joe Dispenza, which is a neurologist, he had a very, very hard accident. It was not a car accident. He was in a motorcycle, and a car hit him like that. He flew, through the air, and he broke one of the vertebrae. And therefore, they told him, you are going to be paralyzed for life. And he entered into this process of saying, well, I do believe in my own capacity to recompose those vertebrae, those bones. And he wrote a whole book about it. And
yes, I'm thinking I've heard that name. Joe Dispenza?
Joey Dispenza.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
And he reconstructed himself. Just by this positive attitude and by this really entering into his inner rooms and position himself correctly in every room to get the best out of him, you see? Because in all our areas of life, we can get this energy of being like at peace with life, with these rooms of our home. Therefore, at peace with life. And when we are at peace with every area of our life, the result is inner peace.
Yes. Well. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Yes. Yes.
And then in the inner peace, we give the body the capacity and the space to heal
itself. Yes. And so you can achieve positive results in every aspect of your life. So like I was talking about the 8 dimensions, you can achieve positive outcomes in every one of those dimensions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because then you work with one room. And then you can, like in the medical Chinese medicine, they say, you can eat balanced. You can eat, the sugar is maximum yin and the salt maximum yang. Okay. To eat balanced, you go to the center, which is Integral. I mean, no, you don't call it integral in English. In English, you call it whole grain. Okay, whole grains, whole grain rice, whole grain oatmeal, whole grain everything. You
Right.
see, in the center. That will be to eat balanced and to eat energetically perfect. You see, and yet they also tell you you can also do it either by eating only whole grain things, or and everything which is kind of or more or less in the center, like vegetables and fruits, right? Which are more or less in the center. Or you can eat things which are yang and things which are yin. Like in the morning you eat yang, at night you eat yin, for example. You see, so you can also eat balance with this consciousness of eating from both sides. So in life, we can do this same thing. We can be conscious of how do we do this process of being in equilibrium, maintaining this inner balance in each room. So we can work one room and then the other, and then the other, or we can work a little bit in this,
A little bit at a time. Yes. I love that. Yes. And that way, and that way it's not so hard to do. You're focusing on each one. Yes. So I did a workshop for teachers around these 8 dimensions, right? And that was one of the questions. So which one do you do first? And I said, well, there's a couple of ways you can do it. We did a self-assessment, and I said, you can decide which one are more critical to you right now that you want to start with. Or you can do a little bit of each. So you have to decide which way is going to work best for you. I can't tell you that, right? Because you know yourself, you know your body, you know your resources.
Well, the grandmas, look at this. It's very interesting that came to me to tell them. The bathroom. The inner bathroom is very important because the inner bathroom is the self-image. How do we look at the mirror?
Yes.
What do we tell ourselves when we look at the mirror? Which it has to do a lot with what you were saying. How are we defined because we are grandmas?
Right. Right.
No, I go to my inner bathroom and I look at myself in the mirror of my inner bathroom and I say, hey, girl, you're fantastic.
Right. Hey, gorgeous. Like Mary J. Blige says, good morning, gorgeous. Right.
That's right. It's, hey, I have come a long way, baby.
Right.
All these beautiful things we can tell ourselves. And also, it has to do with this cleaning process, which is very important as a grandma, to really sit down in that BC and let it all out, which is very important, because if not, we are constipated.
Yep.
Emotionally constipated.
Yep.
Mentally constipated.
Ooh.
And or physically constipated. So you see, it's so important to really let go the past. Let go the past in our inner VC. And also the opposite, which with grandmas, it could, I said with grandmas don't happen generally, and yet something tells me that it's not true, because there are grandmas which also go into the future saying, but what will it happen when I cannot move? When will it happen when I would need help from blah, blah, blah? So the same thing in the bathroom, in the inner bathroom, is very important also, on the contrary of being constipated, to have diarrhea. Let's don't have diarrhea in our inner bathroom, because the diarrhea is to be looking onto the future, which is the anxiety of what's going to happen and what's going to happen tomorrow. Don't worry. Everything is perfect. I just pee and go to the bathroom with a perfect balance. No diarrhea, no constipation. I just go perfect. I eat and I go, and I eat and I go. Normal process in the bathroom. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, yes, yes. That's a good analogy, and that's something that people can understand. Very
That's what
basic, very basic. Yes, yes, yes. And yeah,
because
sometimes we do.
I want with inner positioning to make it easy for the people to
Mhm,
understand that
mhm,
personal and transpersonal development is easy. You know, it's practical spirituality. It's nothing like, no, no, no. Be practical and let's go into business.
mhm, mhm. And do what we need to do for ourselves. Yeah. So I really appreciate you coming on today, Raquel, because I think this is something that grandmas really need to hear about, because we get so caught up in a lot of physical fitness kind of things, but we don't work on the inner self. So we want to be beautiful on the outside, but we don't really nurture, take care of the inner, which is the emotional, the social, the intellectual. But we want to look good, that sort of thing. And I have to admit, I'm guilty of that myself, because we are in a society where we definitely want to make sure we all look good, but we don't take care of the inside, which is what we really need to be focusing on as well. And
Absolutely. And
that's
yet
exactly what your work is about.
the
Hmm.
beauty will show in the
Yes,
outside as well.
yes, yes, yes,
Because the
yes.
beauty in the heart and the soul, you see, and in the mind and in the emotions
Hmm.
will bring
Will
out,
come out. Yes, it will. Yes, it
will
will.
come out.
And sometimes people can see it. You can't even see it in yourself, and people can see it.
Right,
You know,
right.
when you're okay with yourself, inner is okay with yourself. So yeah, sometimes yeah, and so I'm like, yeah, that's pretty interesting, very fascinating work. And I can tell that you've had years of experience with this, the way you articulate it. So I'm very excited for my audience to hear this. I would love to stay in touch with you because I want to talk more about. I want to talk more about this. This is not a one show kind of discussion, I don't think. I think it maybe merits maybe another episode as well. But let's you and I stay in contact, and let's think about what we could do to expand on this. Okay?
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
very
and
good. We will
I
do
know you
that
said
precisely.
you're a coach,
Yeah.
right? You're a coach, and
Mhm.
so yeah, I'm putting together a package around those 8 dimensions that I was telling you about for coach for grandmas. And one of the things that I really want to focus on is and find somebody really good is the emotional piece of it, because again, we don't usually take care of that part. That's the last thing that we work on, which is really the first thing that we need to work on, but we don't do
From
it.
my point of view, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
and we don't do it. So let's stay in communication about that. I'm going to send you a follow-up email so we can continue to have some conversations. And I would also love for you to interview you for the next book, because I think what you have to offer grandmas would be really be good for them to read about. So yeah, let's definitely stay in touch. And so first, give us all your social media handles so people will have that.
Okay. If anyone wants to contact me, it's Raquel Torrent at raqueltorrent.es. That's my
Okay.
email, and they can look for me there. And also, if they want to, www.innerpositioning.com.
It has
That's
been
my.
my pleasure.
It's wonderful to have met you. You are a wonderful woman and a wonderful grandma. I'm
Thank
sure your grandchildren are crazy with you. So
Well, now that
thank
they're
you.
teenagers, not so much, but when they were kids, oh my God, we had so much fun when they were kids, and I'm having a the life of the party is this 2-year-old right now that I'm having so much fun with. But the others, after they get to be teenagers, they don't connect so much. but
Give them
I keep
time.
trying.
Give them time. In the
Yes, I
teenagerhood,
keep trying.
nobody understands anything. No.
Right. I know, right? I keep trying. We take them on a trip every year, just the grandkids and my husband and I, and that has been a beautiful experience for us. Now, because of COVID, we didn't go one year, but you know, other than that, we really enjoy that time with them because then it's just us and them, no parents. The parents are
Oh,
not there. Yeah, so it's a
wonderful.
beautiful time for us, for our family. So yeah, but yeah, they are the light of my life. They really are, and I just love to interact with them any chance I get. So I'm just here, like I said, I'm here waiting for y'all to come by, right, and hang out with me. Yes. So thank you,
Absolutely.
Raquel. I really appreciate you, and I look forward to a continued relationship with you.
Very good. Thank you,
Thank
Marcia.
You're
Have
welcome.
a good entrance into spring. Okay.
Yes, 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 yes. You too. Take care. And you never know.
Bye.
I might call you and say, "Oh yeah, I do want to come to Spain. Let's talk about that." Yes.
Come to Spain. You are invited. You're most
Yes, and I've
invited.
always wanted to go to Spain, so you know it's not that far fetched, right? I've always wanted to go.
Come and we go around. I take you around. Okay.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yes, hang on, and I get to see all the sights and different things. Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you, Raquel. Take care of yourself, and
Thank
I'll be back in
you.
touch.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
Marcia. Good time.
You too.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.